Good evening everyone. This is Manali Raj. Welcome to the CSA Relay News Bulletin program presented by Chanakya IAS Academy Patna. In this segment, we demonstrate about the important highlights from the perspective of our civil services examination. Let us have a brief overview of today's headlines. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla accepted the no confidence motion moved by the opposition against the Narendra Modi government over Manipur violence. Lok Sabha passes Forest Conservation Amendment Bill. Jharkhand issues PESA draft rules for consultation. Today's synoptic report is about why did India impose ban on rice exports, how it can fuel inflation and lead to grain shortage. Moving into the details of the news. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla accepted the no confidence motion moved by the opposition against the Narendra Modi government over Manipur violence. Deputy Leader of the Congress in the Lok Sabha, Gaurav Gogoi, had moved a no confidence motion against the Modi government on July 26. In a parliamentary democracy, a government can be in power only if it commands a majority in the directly elected House. Article 75(3) of our Constitution embodies this rule by specifying that the Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. For testing this collective responsibility, the rules of Lok Sabha provide a particular mechanism, a motion of no confidence. Any Lok Sabha MP who can garner the support of 50 colleagues can at any point of time introduce a motion of no confidence against the Council of Ministers. Thereafter, a discussion on the motion takes place. MPs who support the motion highlight the government shortcomings and the Treasury benches respond to the issues they raise. Finally, a vote takes place in case the motion carries. The government is bound to vacate the office. A no confidence motion can only be moved in Lok Sabha. Amidst pandemonium, the Lok Sabha passed the Forest Conservation Amendment Bill yesterday, without any changes from the version first introduced on March 29. The contentious bill was introduced to amend the Forest Conservation Act of 1980. The 1980 legislation has empowered the centre for the last 4 decades to ensure that any forest land diverted for non-forestry purposes is duly compensated. It extends its remit to land even beyond what is officially classified as forest in central and state government records. The amendments made by the bill now passed by the Lok Sabha include the clauses that specify the types of land where the original act is inapplicable. The amendments encourage the practice of cultivating plantations on non-forest land, which can increase tree cover over time, act as a carbon sink, and aid India's ambition of having net zero carbon emissions by 2070. They also seek to remove the restrictions imposed by the Act in creating infrastructure that would aid national security and create livelihood opportunities for those residents on the periphery of forest. The Jharkhand government published draft rules for wide-ranging public consultation for implementing the provisions of the Panchayats Extension to Scheduled Areas Act or PESA enacted in 1996 to ensure self-governance through Gram Sabhas for people living in the scheduled areas. In Jharkhand's case, scheduled areas refers to areas identified by the 5th schedule of the Constitution. 13 of 24 districts are under the 5th schedule. PESA recognizes the right of tribal communities in scheduled areas to govern themselves through their own systems of self-government. It acknowledges their traditional rights over natural resources. According to the draft Jharkhand Panchayat Provisions Extension to Scheduled Areas Rules 2022, published through a Gazette notification resolving traditional and family disputes, hearing certain cases under the IPC and having fundamental responsibility of maintaining peace and order in view of the principles of the Constitution are among the rights of Gram Sabhas under the 5th schedule areas in the state. The draft rules have mandated 8 standing committees including for education and social justice to be working under the Gram Sabha, which will have at least 50% women and a minimum of 40% people from scheduled tribe communities. The rules mention, for instance, that the Education and Social Justice Committee will mainly work for education, economic uplift of the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, as well as weaker sections of society such as specially abled and primitive tribes, providing protection from social injustice. On traditions and customs, the rules say that the Gram Sabha shall maintain the customary law, social and religious practices of the scheduled tribe communities residing in its area and for their protection will take necessary steps. The rules issued by the state government in relation to the rights and responsibilities of the panchayats will be in accordance with the social, religious, and traditional management practices of the scheduled tribes. The rules say that the Gram Sabha concerned with the operator of the sand ghat where sand is mined or can use it for local needs at its own level. However, it's not clear for the draft rules what the issues under relevant IPC sections are that the Gram Sabha may or may not hear. Today's synoptic report is about why India imposed ban on rice exports, how it can fuel inflation and lead to the grain shortage in the country. India is the biggest exporter of rice in the world, a move that has fueled the economy of the country for decades. However, the rice export dynamics across the world will take a major hit soon, as India has decided to ban the export of non-basmati white rice across the globe for the time being. India has decided to ban all exports of majority of the types of rice to other countries in an effort to keep domestic prices of the essential grain stable. However, this move has sparked fears of global inflation and a rice shortage across several countries. There is one prime reason behind the ban on rice exports to other countries from India: the uneven rainfall in parts of the country, which has led to the concerns about the production shortfalls. This ban on export is expected to curb the uneven and inadequate supply of rice in the country. It must be noted that the non-basmati white rice and broken rice account for 10 million tons of rice exports from India, which currently stands at 22 million tons. The prohibition on exports currently doesn't apply to the parboiled rice, while the nearly half of the rice exports from India have now been stopped. Food and grain costs have already been steadily rising due to the Russia-Ukraine war and the disruption of the food export chains, as well as the unpredictable weather and multiple floods across the globe. This means that the prices of rice across major countries can be spiked severely. India's rice exports have been larger than the exports of the next four biggest rice exporters combined, and the recent ban on the supply of essential grain will likely drive up the prices of rice in 140 countries, leading to the major inflation as well as a potential grain shortage. Some government schemes in news. Revamped Distribution Sector Scheme. This scheme is to help the DISCOMs improve their operational efficiencies and financial sustainability. It is done by providing result-linked financial assistance to DISCOMs to strengthen the supply infrastructure based on meeting pre-qualifying criteria and achieving basic minimum benchmarks. One District, One Product. It is an initiative which is seen as a transformational step forward towards realizing the true potential of a district, fuel economic growth and generate employment and rural entrepreneurship, taking us to the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat. The One District, One Product initiative is operationally merged with the district as an export hub initiative. The objective is to identify one product per district based on the strength of the district and develop a cluster, ensuring quality, scalability with market linkages. Samarth Scheme. The scheme for capacity building in textile sector is a demand-driven and placement-oriented umbrella skilling program. The implementation period of the scheme is up to March 2024. It aims to incentivize and supplement the efforts of the industry in creating jobs in the organized textile and related sectors, covering the entire value chain of textiles, excluding spinning and weaving. In addition to the entry-level skilling, a special provision for upskilling, reskilling program has also been operationalized under the scheme towards improving the productivity of the existing workers in the apparel and garmenting segments. It also caters to the upskilling and reskilling requirement of the traditional textile sector, such as handloom, handicraft, silk, and jute. The nodal ministry for this particular scheme is Ministry of Textiles. That was all for today. Stay tuned to our channel for standardizing your civil services preparations. Thank you.